Spider-Man: Homecoming is a blockbuster released on June 28, 2017. With a budget of $175 million, it has grossed nearly $880.9 million in ticket sales worldwide. Following the Battle of New York in 2012, Adrian Toomes and his salvage company are contracted to clean up the city, but their operation is taken over by the Department of Damage Control, DODC, a partnership between Tony Stark and the US government. Enraged at being driven out of business, Toomes persuades his employees to keep the Chitauri technology they have already scavenged and use it to create and sell advanced weapons, including a flying vulture suit Toomes uses to steal Chitauri power cells. 8 years later, after being drafted into the Avengers by Stark to help with an internal dispute in Germany, Peter Parker resumes his studies at the Midtown School of Science and Technology when Stark tells him he is not yet ready to become a full-time Avenger. Parker quits his school's academic decathlon team to spend more time focusing on his crime-fighting activities as Spider-Man. His best friend, Ned, eventually discovers his secret identity. Parker encounters Toomes' associates, Jackson Brees, Shocker, and Herman Schultz, selling weapons to local criminal Aaron Davis. Parker saves Davis, but is caught by Toomes in the vulture suit and dropped into a lake, nearly drowning after becoming tangled in a parachute built into his suit. Stark rescues him, monitoring the Spider-Man suit he gave Parker, and warns him against further involvement with the criminals. Toomes accidentally kills Brees with one of their weapons, and Schultz becomes the new Shocker. Parker and Ned study a weapon Brees left behind, removing its power core. A tracking device on Schultz leads them to Maryland, so Parker rejoins the decathlon team and accompanies them to Washington, D.C. for their national tournament. Ned and Parker disable the tracker Stark implanted in the Spider-Man suit and unlock its advanced features. Parker tries to stop Toomes from stealing weapons from a DODC truck, but is trapped inside, causing him to miss the decathlon tournament. Discovering that the power core is an unstable Chitauri grenade, he races to the Washington Monument, where the core activates and explodes, trapping Ned and their friends in an elevator. Parker saves them, including his classmate and crush Liz. Days later, in New York City aboard the Staten Island ferry, Parker captures Toomes' new buyer, Mac Gargan, but Toomes escapes and a malfunctioning weapon tears the ferry in half. Stark helps Parker save the passengers, but confiscates his suit as punishment for his recklessness. Parker returns to his high school life and asks Liz to go to the homecoming dance with him. On the night of the dance, he discovers that Toomes is Liz's father. Deducing Parker's secret identity, Toomes threatens him. Parker realizes Toomes is planning to hijack a DODC plane transporting weapons from Avengers Tower to the team's new headquarters in upstate New York. He leaves the dance and dons his old homemade Spider-Man suit. Though ambushed outside by Schultz, he defeats him with Ned's help. He races to Toomes' lair, where Toomes attacks Parker, destroying the building's support columns, and leaves Parker to die, trapped in the rubble. Parker escapes and intercepts the plane, steering it to crash on the beach at Coney Island. He and Toomes continue fighting, ending with Parker saving Toomes' life after the damaged vulture suit explodes. Parker leaves Toomes for the police, along with the plane's cargo. After her father's arrest, Liz moves away. Parker declines an invitation from Stark to join the Avengers full-time, and Stark proposes to Pepper Potts. Stark also returns the Spider-Man suit to Parker, who puts it on just as his Aunt May walks in. In a mid-credits scene, an incarcerated Gargan approaches Toomes in prison, saying he has heard that the latter knows Spider-Man's real identity, though Toomes denies this. Here are some objective reviews and strong emotional reactions after watching this movie. Hugely disappointing. As a lifelong Spidey fan, I was expecting good things from Homecoming. Sadly, it did not deliver for me. Let's start with the positives. Michael Keaton's Vulture was everything a villain should be, with an added layer of charm and depth. The high school setting and our youngest Peter so far was definitely a step in the right direction. Tom Holland is a very capable actor, although his voice did grate after a while. Even the menacing Mac Gargan, a potential Scorpion, was a great addition. Now the negatives. I think the casting for Flash Thompson, Liz Allen, and Ned Leeds was absolutely ridiculous. Flash is supposed to be a jock who bullies Peter, not a smaller Asian guy who is also a member of the same quiz team. And that throwaway MJ comment at the end? Unforgivable. The costume AI also didn't work for me. I appreciate that this is a tool to integrate Spidey into the MCU, but for me, he works better when he is on his own. A guy in a cloth suit overcoming the odds with a mixture of bravery and science. I can appreciate that Homecoming had some issues to get over, especially as the other movie incarnations covered his unique origin in such depth. Was it brave to avoid the origin altogether? Or did it detract from really getting us on side? Maybe a 20-minute opening section with Peter narrating, recapping his origin might have helped. I've no doubt that younger viewers would have enjoyed this movie, and maybe that was the aim. But fans of the 60s, 70s, or 80s Spidey might have wondered what had happened to their favorite wall crawler. For me, the first 45 minutes of Raimi's Spider-Man nailed it, and SM2 was equally as good. My girlfriend, who has no knowledge of the Spider-Man lore, left the cinema with me and remarked, "That was the worst one." Though I don't necessarily agree with that comment, I certainly wasn't ready to hail Spider-Man Homecoming as an all-conquering triumph. Instead, a rather weak chapter in the MCU series. Sorry, Spidey, I so wanted to love this movie. Maybe better next time. A spectacular Spider-Man movie that proves Spider-Man still got it. John Watts perfects the character and charm of Spider-Man that we all love from the comics, without doing disservice to fans of both the Raimi and Amazing Spider-Man franchises. This fun superhero movie oozes with joy thanks to its great cast and characters, big and small, and Tom Holland's amazing performance. Holland brilliantly combines what Maguire and Garfield brought to the character, half truly demonstrating the differences and similarities between the awkward nerd Peter Parker and the quippy crime-fighting Spider-Man. The film also addresses critics of Marvel's lack of great villains by presenting a relatable villain who is as interesting, if not more so, than the hero. Michael Keaton's excellent portrayal of the Vulture provides a great adversary both physically and psychologically. What Spider-Man Homecoming does best, however, is its attention to detail and world building in the town of Queens, which feels more real and believable than any other fictional world in the MCU. This makes Spider-Man Homecoming one of the best chapters of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a great example for future superhero movies to learn from. Teenage Spidey. A young Peter Parker battles the everyday problems of a teenage student while his alter ego Spider-Man battles a major threat. I am surprised to see so many 1 and 10-star reviews for this film. I honestly don't see how it could create such passion for or against. For me, it was a pretty decent movie, but in the grand scheme of Spider-Man movies, many are superior, and some are decidedly inferior. I wonder if this one will be influenced by age. I think a younger audience will have more love for it, while some mature viewers may find it a little childish at times. Some of the dialogue will have you cringing. Initially, I was expecting someone to give Spider-Man a little Spidey dummy pacifier. I found it frustrating at first, but I'm glad I stuck with it, as it does improve. The ending is the best bit, where you really see Spider-Man mature. Tom Holland was very good, delivering a fine, energetic performance despite a challenging script. There are some nice action sequences and a pretty good story. I appreciated Michael Keaton's acting and the impact of Robert Downey Jr., and I wish we'd seen more of him. I feel like it's missing something. First of all, I had high expectations for this film, but the trailers really ruined it for me by showing almost the whole movie. It didn't feel like a Spider-Man/Iron Man movie. Starting with the characters, Tom Holland portrays Spider-Man and Peter Parker exceptionally well. He's probably the best Spider-Man yet. Michael Keaton did a great job as the Vulture, and the casting for other characters was also well done. The film is somewhat boring with a slow pace, but it's not that bad. It has a more lighthearted tone compared to others, aimed more at teens but with fun moments for adults, especially comic book fans. It has a teenage feel, but it's okay. The action wasn't bad, but it wasn't as exciting as in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2. I expected more action scenes. What you see in the trailers is pretty much what you get. It also didn't feel like a typical Marvel movie. It seemed more like a Disney TV movie with a touch of Marvel. This is just my opinion. Nonetheless, it's a fun and visually appealing movie. It introduces Peter Parker's transition to Spider-Man and his place in the Avengers. Great movie, with many scenes filmed in my neighborhood. Highly recommend the Blu-ray release. The cast is excellent, though Tom Holland is still an up-and-coming star. He shows promise. I love Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I'm just a bit confused about where this movie fits in relation to the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield versions. Is it after both or somewhere in between? Overall, it was an above-average movie. It's great! Another Spidey? Is this another attempt to retell the angsty story of power and responsibility? Not quite. Peter Parker is not bogged down by teenage drama here. And Spider-Man as an Avenger? Let me explain. I had many doubts when the trailer was released. Why is Uncle Ben absent? Why does Peter's best friend know his secret, which was only revealed in the comics to help Iron Man's team during Civil War? Why is Aunt May so unaware? Why is Iron Man always in the background? Where's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? But after watching the movie, I was pleasantly surprised. We get a fresh look at Peter Parker's life. For the first time, we see Peter as genuinely young, something Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's portrayals didn't quite capture. His life isn't solely defined by Uncle Ben's death. While it's implied, it doesn't dominate his character. This Peter learns how to be a hero in real time. He doesn't go from struggling with his powers to mastering them in a blink. Instead, we see a believable progression. The film balances humor and realism well. Peter is portrayed as authentic, eating larb, building a Lego Death Star, studying for a Spanish quiz, and saving the day. The dynamic between Tom Holland and his real-life friend Jacob Batalon, who plays Ned, is refreshing and adds to the humor and charm of the film. Aunt May, played by Marisa Tomei, is shown as a supportive figure who is also starting over with Peter. This adds a new layer to her character beyond just being a plot device. Flash Thompson is rebooted too. While he's still a bully, we see a different side of him, hinting at future development where he might become Venom. Thank you for watching this video with me. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this. Goodbye.